speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kirk? I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 who you with, Kirk, dog? Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kurt, dog. I'm who you with, Kurt, dog. Hopefully y'all had a great Monday. I know I did. A little bit of rain cooled it down a little bit, but we're gonna pay for it later. Want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, D Live is always in the house. You can live chat with us in the chat room. Tonight, you can actually call in 972 591 3665, 972 591 3665. We're going to talk about the Queen herself, Gwen Berry, who took a stand yesterday after qualifying for the Olympics. And then we know, guess Texas have another person on their radar that we need to vote out, Dan Crenshaw. So we need to make sure we get him out of office also. That's not the way you represent Texas. But so that's what we're going to talk about now. And then if it's other stories that you want to talk about, you could definitely hit us up. I want to have an open discussion about this because apparently some people have a different mindset about what they called it, being disrespectful in a peaceful protest. Or no, let me rephrase that. I think one Twitter that they posted on the Queen Gwen Berry Twitter account was saying that she was disgusted, um, and and then talking about the January 6th terrorist attack was a peaceful protest. And that's how some people mindset is. Just like Dan Crenshaw, his mindset is the same way. That's why it's time for him to pack up and get out of office. That's another one we need to look at also, along with Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, Ken Patson, Sid Miller, and several other uh, local officials or state officials. So we need to get them out. So yesterday, after Gwen qualified, now just to give you a little bit of history of Gwen, she's actually I believe, a two-time Olympian, and she actually was banned, I guess, in the last Olympic for her protest, her activists. And it's really crazy because here it is in 2021, we're still having to deal with this as for people getting upset because people are expressing themselves. Because I don't know about, well, I know most of my followers are tired of hearing about unarmed black and brown people being murdered by the police. If this wasn't still going on, the protests would still be going on until they make laws that are for everyone across the board. It's going to continue to happen because, yes, she's going to represent the U.S., but also the George Floyd murder took the cover off the racism of America. Because the thing is, that cop didn't care because he felt like nothing was going to happen to him. So, welcome to the show, Marcellus. What's up, my people? It's the People Show, my favorite show. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for always supporting us. Um, so yesterday, um, um, Hamilton Gwen Berry say that playing off on the says that they playing the national anthem while she was on the podium at the U.S. Olympic track and field trial was set up. Berry turned away from the flag to face the stand while the Star Spangled Banner played during the medal ceremony on Saturday. She then draped a T-shirt bearing the words "Active Athlete" over her head. Having placed third in the Hammer event at the trial in Eugene, Oregon, Berry earned the spot on the U.S. team for the Tokyo Olympics, which get underway next month. I feel like it was a setup. Um, I feel like they did that on purpose, and I was pissed, to be honest. Said Berry, the anthem being played while she was on the podium. Um, I was thinking about what should I do. Eventually, I just stayed there and just swayed. I put my shirt over my head. It was real disrespectful. I know they did that on purpose, but it'll be all right. I see what's up. And U.S. Track and Field USATF did not respond to CNN requests for comments, but according to Retro, it said the anthem was played each day at the trials according to a prearranged schedule. We didn't wait until the athlete were on the podium for the hammer throw award, said USATF spokesman Susan Hazard. We're thrilled with the women hammer throwing team that selected themselves for the game. The anthem was being played once each even throughout the trials. Um, Berry displayed a T-shirt on the podium at the Olympic trial. Uh, they said they were going to play it before we walked out. Then they played it when we were out there, said Berry, according to ESPN. ESPN. But I don't really want to talk about the anthem because that's not important. The anthem doesn't speak for me. It never has. On Instagram, Berry added a capture alongside photos of her on the podium saying, I said what I said. I meant what I said. Stop playing with me, period. Um, then on Twitter, Berry said, her comments on social media show that even after the murder of George Floyd and so many others, the commercial statement and phony sentimental regarding Black lives were just a hoax. In 2019, Berry lost some of her sponsorship after raising her fist in protest on the podium at the Pan Am game in Peru. She received a 12-month probation from the U.S. Olympic Committee for the act, which she says was meant to highlight social injustice in America. For me, it was extremely devastating because the cut off of my revenue, 31-year-old Barry told CNN of this situation last year. Competing, going overseas, going to competition, getting prize money, and then ultimately making the Olympic team help me, help my family, help my community. In an open letter to athletes earlier this year, U.S. Olympic and Committee CEO Sarah Hischlin outlined how respect for demonstration on the topic of race and social justice would be allowed at the Olympic trials while we support your right to demonstrate peacefully and support of racial and social justice, we can't control the action of others may take in response. The letter said, however, a ban on protests and demonstration at the Tokyo Olympic will be in place after the International Olympic Committee upheld Rule 50, which state that no counter demonstration of political, religion, or racial is permitted in the Olympic sites, venue, or other areas. So I have a couple of things about this because I feel like, hey, it's really crazy. Welcome to the show, Radio Chaos. Been missing you. I guess you went on vacation last week too. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Um, Marcella said, I think cops like the phrase murder. I know I'm in black because it happening too often. Um, yeah, it happened way too often. And for Gwen, and I'm gonna encourage everyone. Um, Please follow her on social media because if you want to hear some facts and some history, follow her on Twitter and on Instagram. I didn't even realize I was already following her. And I seen a tweet today and I'm like, okay. And kind of find out I was already following her, she was following me, or we're following each other. But either way, in this situation, people have to realize that we have a voice. It's not just about getting out there and representing the country, but the country needs to represent us. And it have never represented black folks since it existed. Yeah, some people say, yeah, we represent black folks. And kind of like what she said, she lost sponsorships. I told y'all last year after George Floyd murder, don't get it confused because people is going to send these emails, going to send these letters out saying we stand with you, but they don't give a damn about you because the only thing they want is your money. And that's it. So, and if I known last year or before that she lost sponsorships, we would have boycotted them because here it is. She's a, I don't know if she's married. I believe she's a single parent, can really tell. But for her to be a mother with a black son, you have to take a stand. You have to. As black people, we need to take a stand on this situation because there's so many of us are being killed for no reason at all, just because the color of our skin. But people want to get up in an uproar and talk about this sister. Stop hiding behind the sheets and behind the keyboard and open your eyes and realize that, hey, we are here also. We are human beings. We are an American. So definitely stop hiding. Yeah, I know some of you don't hide no more because Trump gave y'all that power. But for to do something like this, no. I spent majority of the day reading a lot of those comments. I wanted to respond, but I said it wasn't on my page. I didn't want to stir the pot up. But I said I'll just wait until the night. Radio says so Crenshaw is against a peaceful protest. No, she's not against it. She's not against a peaceful protest. When she turned away from the flag, they made it seem like she's against a peaceful protest. And someone posted in her defense a picture of her turning away from the flag, and they put it's disgusting. And then they showed the Capitol's riot or the Capitol terrorist attack and had it's a peaceful protest. Now, with her just standing there, She was peaceful. But that's the way that people look at it, because a lot of people say when it come down to the Capitol Hill terrorist attack, first thing they say, well, it was their rights, or it was my rights. I can do that to try to overthrow the government. It's my rights to do it. And we see the type of results coming out from that, because they giving these folks a flap on the hand, telling them don't do it no more. But when someone take a stand and do a peaceful protest, they want to get pissed off and crucify them. So the thing is, at some point, people need to wake up and realize we're not going nowhere. We're not. I know I didn't finish reading your comment, but I wanted to get that straight. But a violent insurgent and patriotic sounds like the usual GOP talking point. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And they go against the system. She didn't say nothing. She didn't tell them they was number one. At least not out loud. I don't know what she was thinking, but um, but the thing is, they go and try to make it seem like she just this big bad wolf, kind of how they did uh Kaepernick. Kaepernick the same way. Peaceful protest, not saying anything. Even when a veteran told him, hey, you will get more attention if you take a knee. But they don't want to look at that fact. And still, Kaepernick never got picked up by another team again. But here it is, Tebow trying out for a team. I'm just saying. Show me what was so wrong what Kaepernick did. It had nothing to do with the flag. But we have elected officials that want to get involved and go on Fox in Houston. He represents y'all, the western part of Houston. Matter of fact, when is his reelection is up? Because we need to make sure we send him packing. For the simple fact, see when is his next his term in, because it's time for him to step down. We'll treat him just like we're gonna do Greg Abbott, send him packing. And yeah, let me see. I'm trying to find it. When is his reelection? I'll find it in just a minute, because it's time for him to go. It's time for him to go because he's not a good leader for the state of Texas. It's time for him to go. But he did go. Went on Fox News, called for Gwen Berry to be removed from the Olympic team. Also saying we don't need any more active athletes. It's okay the NBA player protest. We just stop watching. But we don't need Olympic team protests. The Olympic represent America. So my thing is, Dan Crenshaw. You saying that the Olympic team represent America, but unfortunately, America don't really represent us. As for black athletes, it have to be a two-way street. Okay, he'll be up for appreciated radio. That's why I love my followers, because radio would always be on top. Um, he'll be up for re-election next year. Same time as I want to say yeah, homeboy. Uh, no, Greg Abbott. Yeah, he's up with all the other clowns. Dan Crenshaw, you don't notice. Next year you gotta go. You have to go. Dan Crenshaw have to go next year. We're gonna get you out too. I'm gonna add you to the long list also. So you was up under the radar until the end, but now, um, what we have to realize, and I feel like this, he need to come out and public apologize to her. He need to apologize to her, because the thing is, you trying to crucify this sister just because it don't affect you personally, because you don't have to worry about being shot and killed by the police. You don't have to worry about your kids being shot and killed by the police. But for us, we do. But you want to try to crucify uh, Gwen Berry because she took a stand. But let me ask you a question, Dan. What if, because of your comment, with all the black athletes that is taking part of this Olympic, what if they decide to protest the whole Olympic because of your comment? Oh, I know. You wouldn't care. You wouldn't care. But you said it's okay for the NBA players to protest. Y'all just won't watch the game. Can you imagine how boring that Olympic would be without the black athletes? The same one that you're trying to crucify for taking a stand, for when they get back to America, they just another nigga in the street. And you don't care about them. So the thing is, what if they protest? I would tell them all. Every time they play the national anthem, turn your back. Because we need to pull this sheet off of America. This have gone on too long. It's a different breed now. It's not like what it used to be. Master, we do whatever you want to do, master. Nah, it ain't like that. You got to know your position. Oh, I know what it is. You don't want no Trumps and Greg Abbott things trying to get reelected. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'm going to make sure you just got moved up to the top of the list like the rest of them. It's time for you to go. Time for you to step down. Talking about she just need to play the game. No. And like I said, please, if you're not following her, please follow her. She have a lot of good information on her page, where they try not to teach our kids history in the school here in Texas. Go to her page. You'll find out a whole bunch of history. A bunch of it. I think her name, I get her name in just a minute on Instagram. I want to say it's Miss Berry something. Let me. Oh, Miss Berry Throws. On Twitter. Miss Berry Throws on Twitter. So definitely uh, follow her. I didn't know she'd been protesting for a long time. So it's been a while. And she didn't just start this yesterday. She's very matter of fact, I'm putting it up here for y'all can see it for yourself. Definitely go out and support her. Follow her on Twitter and on Instagram. Um, I don't know her, but I like what she stands for because we need more athletes to take a stand for what's going on in America. And this right here is too much for an elected official come out. She's not even in your state, and you want to come and speak out against her. I'm like, really? Uh, I'm like, this is crazy. This is very crazy. That's why we need to make a change. We need to make sure we're getting out and voting. Um, get out and vote and make sure we hold these elected officials accountable. Now, while Dan is talking, I seen a while ago that it came out the White House had no problem with it. Had no problem with it. But Dan got a problem with it. I think he just letting his horn show. So definitely go out and support the sister. And I'm gonna say this too, because I don't know her, never met her, never talked to her. But if you follow her on Instagram, she also have um, merchandise for sale on there. So definitely follow her because I'm sure when you have somebody like Dan Crenshaw trying to speak out against her with Fox, they're gonna try to mess with her money. Hold on, we got a call coming in. Oh my boy. Radio Chaos, what's going on?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I was getting worried about you last week. I said I haven't talked to you.
No, I was out of town for a week.
Oh, okay. Oh, you took a vacation like me. I needed that break because I need a mental break. Um, there's so much going on, so I needed that mental break for a couple of days. Um, so how you feel about Gwen Berry in the U.S.?
It's just complete hypocrisy. This party has gone off the rails. And you know what? Trump was just a system or a symptom. But this party is a dangerous party now.
Yeah.
And I think the Democrats better start preparing for what's going to happen in 2022 with the elections, because they're going to come out in any close races with these new election laws, and they're going to say, oh, well, we saw something funny here, and just start throwing out votes.
Yeah.
This is authoritarianism. And I see on the news, like, they keep pointing out all the crazy stuff that this party is doing and going, well, can you believe? That time has passed now. You better start preparing for what's coming next.
Well, I know it came out last week that DOJ is investigating Georgia because of their changes in the voter laws, kind of like here in Texas, how Greg Adamant, I said Adamant, Greg Abbott trying to change Texas voting laws. So, Department of Justice is actually investigating Georgia, And like I said, once we did that show talking about the young lady, the video that came out that was showing the young lady uh, talking about how she teaching these Republican states to change the voter laws, and nobody wouldn't think anything about it. I said then we need to sit back and wait, because what's going to happen, because this video came out, all these states that is changing the laws, we're going to start seeing people getting hauled off to jail.
Well, and one of the big points too is I don't think the politicians, even in the GOP, know what exactly the fire they're playing with right now. They just seem to think that you can pass a bunch of laws and rig elections, and everybody's just going to go, oh, well, democracy was pretty good while we had it, but I guess it's going to be not good for anybody.
Exactly.
Including the Trump supporters and everybody else, because if they think that, minorities in the country or gay rights people are just going to sit back and go, oh, well, they played the better chess game, it'll go off like a powder keg. And guys like Ted Cruz and McConnell, they haven't dealt with something like this before. So what happens if the whole thing goes off the rails? What are they going to do?
It's not too much they can do, because they're going to investigate several of them. And it's going to be interesting long down the road. Even Barr came out and talked about Trump the other day. William Barr, he said Trump lied. And actually what he said, Trump is full of bullshit. So that's what he said. And I'm like, okay. And I'm sure Trump.
Bill Barr was one of the guys that fanned the flames on the election fraud before the election. So he's just protecting his own, like, after the fact. It's always too little, too late, right? Like, he's just as bad as any of them. The thing is, though, it's kind of like when you get into this behavior of dysfunction where you can just do whatever you feel like and there's no repercussions for it, this is what happens to people.
Exactly. And, well, I think Rudy finding that out the hard way.
Yeah.
Since he's unable to practice anymore, because of, I believe it's Pennsylvania that filed the lawsuit to suspend his license because he kept lying in court, couldn't show no evidence of the reason why it was voter fraud, and he kept going on, and the judge said no, let's suspend his license. So I suspect he's gonna come out and try to make a plea deal soon too.
Well, you just look at the behavior of the people in this party. It's absolutely dysfunctional. And you know what it is? It's addiction to power. Like, you remember Kayleigh McEnany, the press secretary for Trump, right?
Yeah.
Well, she came out and she was doing a speaking engagement. And get this was hilarious. They're going to sell off my chair when she said this one. Well, she's an evangelical Christian. Oh. So that makes it impossible for her to lie. So all those press conferences where she lied at, she goes, well, I can't lie because I'm an evangelical Christian. Yeah. That's just crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot of liars in church, but I'm just saying, as a lot of people lie just to save their tail or to keep their job. Did you hear about, I think it was over the weekend or something, Trump was in Ohio, I believe, and a lot of his supporters walked out during his speech.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's
got no new material. He's just doing. See, that's the thing with Trump. Like 5 years ago, it was new, right? Here you get this troll saying all this stuff, but he gets no new material. So 5 years later, people, you know how it is. People's attention spans. They want new stuff, and he's not capable of that. It's just the same old thing. I think Trump's irrelevant right now.
Yeah, he is. A lot of his supporters got upset when he found out he was going on tour with is it Bill O'Reilly later this year, and they was upset, and they like, wait a minute, how can he be going on tour if he's going back to the White House? So I was kind of upset. And somebody interviewed
one of the guys that was leaving that rally this weekend, and he was kind of disappointed. He said, "Well, I wanted to hear him talk about the voter fraud, but he never said anything about it."
Well, the thing is like, Dave Chappelle. Like, if Dave Chappelle was still telling the same comedy routine that he started out with, he wouldn't go anywhere. Of course, he keeps coming up with news. That's how he's had a successful career. Trump's not capable. Trump came up with his shtick, and 5 years later, it just doesn't have the same appeal anymore to people because, it's just the same thing. I think what he did was he showed the rest of the people in the GOP that the base has basically written the Republicans a blank check and said, do what we want. Like, we want, we don't want separation of church and state. We want the Second Amendment, absolutely unregulated. And you can do it whatever way you want to. If it violates the Constitution, we don't care. You've got our support. And that's what the problem is. And that's what leads to authoritarianism.
Yep. So Trump, I think we can easily say he's pretty much washed up. Washed up politics.
I think even the evangelical voters that he has, they know he's an idiot and they know he's not religious, but he will give them the judges that they wanted. So they're like, fine, we'll make a deal with the devil as long as we get what we want. See, the fundamentalist Christian movement is not fighting for equality. They're fighting for power. And they're organized, and they have a lot of money behind them, and they've been at this now for 40 years. And this is their time. Like this, if you want to have an authoritarian government, this is the time, because Trump exposed that the base will support this party no matter what. They could break the law, they can tear up the Constitution, or they can just do away with the institute. But see, the funny part is what the Trump supporters don't realize. You can't try authoritarianism for a year and see if you like it. Because once you cross that line, that's it.
True.
You can't vote your way out now.
That's so true. And this upcoming election is going to be very important in a lot of states. And please, if you're not registered to vote, please go out and get registered. And also, if you are a felon that is off papers and paid all your dues, please get registered to vote, because voting is going to be very important these next couple of years. We need to vote every election without a doubt. And also, if you're just now tuning in, you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I'm Who You With Kurt Dog. You can live chat with us in the chat room, and we can keep the conversation going. We're talking about Gwen Berry and Dan Crenshaw and a little bit of Trump. So, Radio, what is your prediction? I know it's kind of early, and you're in a different country. What would you like to see different in America?
I think right now the biggest crisis that the Democrats face is you better start preparing for what's going to happen with these elections, because they're going to do this. They're going to come out and they're going to go, hey, we saw something weird here. We're not going to provide any evidence. And in some of these states, they've actually changed the law so they can throw it back to the legislature, which is Republican dominated, and they can change the election.
True. That's so true. And that's
scary. That's basically in China, they have elections there, but you're not voting your way out of it. You vote for the Communist Party. That's it. And there's like a transfer of power within the party. Then you get North Korea, which is an autocratic government, but it goes by a bloodline, which is a dictatorship. So I don't know if these people that are voting for this, for the Republicans, realize this, that once you cross that line, that's it. You're not, like, if it doesn't work out the way you thought it would, now your vote doesn't count either.
Exactly.
So I cannot believe why people are going along with this. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Like, It'd be like you signing a contract going, I will work at this job for the rest of my life and I can never leave.
Yep.
Nobody would sign a contract like that.
You're
But yet
definitely
people
right.
are willing to do this with their voting rights? Wow.
People don't care. People look at, unfortunately, with America, a lot of people look at the skin color or parties. And I was like, you serious about this? You're not even looking at the policy they're making, because whatever policy they make, it's going to affect all of us one way or another, either for the good or for the bad. So it's definitely going to affect all of us. I'm sorry, somebody was passing by and looking. I'm like, hey, I have my curtains
here,
open.
here in Canada, we don't have a Christian movement that's looking to be in power here. It's sort of like there's fundamentalist Christians, but they're not. They don't have the political power that they do in the U.S. And so you don't have that. So we don't have a party that's catering to. See, the one thing about fundamentalist evangelicals, they'll vote no matter what. It doesn't matter if their candidate is 8 points behind in a poll. They're going down and voting. So that's why you always get like these high turnouts for Republican voters.
Exactly. I'm trying to read some of these comments that have came in on Gwen Berry Twitter, which is a lot of them. You're not on social media though, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's why
I can't stand Mark Zuckerberg, so I'll never get a Facebook account.
Well, yeah, I feel you on that. I try not to stay off. I try to stay off of it as much as I can, for the simple fact that it's really depression when you go in there and you see somebody that lost a family member and stuff like that, and it gets to me. So I'm like, okay.
You know, social media's got a lot of good things about it, but there's also a lot of bad things about it. And what it, unfortunately, it's empowered idiots.
Exactly,
and
it
so
is.
idiots can find other idiots, and they all go, "Oh, well, hey, you know, like we all support each other." And that's the downside of it. It's kind of funny with the Republicans when they threw Trump off, and then they're going, "Well, this is suppression of free speech." No, it's not. Twitter is a private company, and when you sign up, you tick that box that says terms of use, and they can throw you off their platform at any time. Now, if the Republicans and the Democrats actually enforce their antitrust laws, which doesn't let companies become a monopoly, then yeah, you would have more platforms that you could go. But they let Twitter become this major giant, and so like they're the main game in town. And so it's funny, like the Republicans helped not enforce antitrust laws and made Twitter so huge. And then when it throws off cotton candy ass clown there, then they're crying, "Oh, now it doesn't work for us." You can't have it both ways.
Exactly. People are just sick. They're so gun ho that whatever they think, whatever they feel is right. Kind of like this comment: attacking the Capitol with zero weapon. There was no fires being set and no beating of the political figure in that building, which we know it would have if they would have caught him, or would have been some murder. Aaron showed a lot of intelligence by showing you what you're okay with. The Capitol is a house of the people, and the only guns shot were the Capitol Police.
You know what? I mean, I know Dan Crenshaw, he served in Afghanistan and he lost his eye in, I think it was an IED explosion or something like that. So it is kind of funny to see a guy, you know, went through all that, and then he comes back and he just sells his soul to this party. And, you know, because like he knows what it's like to be in a violent environment, and yet he thought that was okay.
Well,
I don't get it.
well, the thing is with him, Dan, thank you for serving, first of all. But we know just because the terrorist attack that happened on January 6th, there was a lot of servicemen that was part of it, ex-servicemen, policemen, firemen. It was a lot of them involved in it. So he's no different than them, even though he's a sitting elected official, but it shouldn't be no different. He's the same. He have that mindset like them, even though he's kind of showing it, but he's not fully coming out and saying it. And
well, this is what the quest for power is like. Some people, they want that power so bad, they'll do anything to get to it, and they'll lie to people. They just, like, it's kind of strange, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't spend my life going after power. So I guess I can't walk in their shoes, but when you see people like Cruz and McConnell, and you just see, like, that power is all that matters in their life.
yeah,
It's just something I don't understand. Like, McConnell's 78 years old now. He's rich. And most people at his age, you know, you kind of retire and kick back and enjoy your, you know, you think you want to enjoy your, but he's so focused that he wants to get the Senate back so he can start jamming in more of those conservative judges into the circuit courts. That's his thing. And he can't let it go. He's kind of like Trump. Like, he's got his area of power that he can't let go.
true. So,
You know?
I know last week it was hit and miss. Did you see the results with Derek Chavez?
Yeah, I saw that. Like, you got, what, 22 and a half years?
Yeah, I feel like it was a slap on the wrist. He should have got more. It been people put in jail for life for selling marijuana, but he get 22 and a half years for killing George Floyd. Then turn around and he could be eligible for parole in 15.
Yeah, I guess a judge, like every state has precedents on their sentencing rules, and the judge has, you know, I don't know. I wasn't a judge and obviously I'm not a lawyer. You know, did he throw precedent out the window and give him less, or did he follow the precedent? And because also too, if you don't follow precedent for sentencing, and you go, okay, well, I think what this guy did was really bad anyway, so I'm going to give him like twice the amount of what precedent is set, then it'll go to the appeals court and it'll get overturned. So usually judges at sentencing, they have to be careful. Like, they can't just go, you know, I think it was this, and so I'll give them, like, you know, 40 years over the 30 that the prosecutors wanted, because in the appeals courts, they look at precedent and of the sentencing of that state, right? So it is a little bit more complicated. But then again, I'm not a judge. I don't know. I've never sentenced anybody, so I obviously don't know the ins and outs of it. But I do have a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and there's a lot of nuances in the law and things like that people, you know, that us as just, you know, citizens, when we see somebody, you know, get sentenced, there's a lot of nuances in the law that they have to take into account and that they're bound to take into account. So it is hard to say, but as far as Chauvin goes, I thought, like, the apology to his family was way too late.
Yeah,
It
was. It was disrespectful.
You know, yeah, he actually probably would have been better just saying nothing. There's something wrong with that guy. You can tell. There's something just not right with him.
Welcome to the show. T-Cal said, hi, y'all. Enjoying the conversation. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being a big supporter. Yeah, he has some issues, but
Yeah,
it's only the start of it, because the thing is, he also has some federal charges coming up soon also.
yeah, so he's got that coming up, and he's going to have a different lawyer for that. I don't think his the lawyer that defended him on that case will be taking the federal one. So he'll have to raise money for that. I don't know how that'll work.
Yeah, I don't know either. Glad you made it home, T Cal. Said made my drive home easy pulling up to my home. Uh, congratulations. Glad you made it home safely. And so it's gonna be interesting when it come down to a lot of different things as for um, the things that are going on in this world. And then as
Yeah.
for it's I know I'm kind of going all over the board for the simple fact I was kind of playing catch up last week on some of the outline headline stories, and I actually did a show when the verdict was came out, and I was like, oh wow, I was surprised. I've said personally, I would feel okay if he got 20, but I feel like he needed life because
Hmm.
George Floyd life is not going to come back after 20 years. So I feel like he should have gotten life.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't surprised that, you know, that, like, again, like this precedent thing, like each state has their own sentencing laws, and the judges have to conform to those It'd be like the Supreme Court if they had a case and one of the justices, like when Roe versus Wade is coming up.
yes,
If it looks like those justices vote against it and they just threw precedent out the window, that's when you really start to question like rulings, because like if they just throw it out the window and they go and they just do what their own personal feelings tell them, well, that's not following the law, right? So you know what? I mean, he's done either way. Like, even if he does get his 15 years and he gets out on parole, he's done. Like, and probably he'll be looking over his shoulder the rest of his life.
I can see that. I'm glad.
But you never know. He might get in trouble in prison, and he might get more tacked. Or with the federal thing, he's going to get, if he gets more tacked on, and that'll be probably concurrent with the sentence he got on Friday. So I don't think he's not looking at a very bright future, no matter what.
I don't think he is either, and I don't think he will either. Hold on, I'm trying to find something because I was looking for something else. I don't think it's going to be good for him personally. And then I was talking with someone, and they actually said, "Well, to be honest with you, I don't think he's going to make it out of prison." Then when his mom spoke, um, I was like, "Well, that's a mother, so she going to say what she want to say for her son."
I mean, you can't fault him, like, for, trying to defend her son.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never hold that against a parent, because that must be absolutely horrible thing to go through. Having your kids, in that kind of time. You know what? I mean, if he was kneeling on George Floyd's neck, if he just took 1 second and was like, "What am I doing?" and just stopped, he wouldn't be in this position. But his ego, he was like, "Don't tell me what to do. I'm not listening to, like, I'm a police officer. I'm going to do what I want." And so it was all on him. And then the other three cowards with him, no, well, we don't have the same seniority as him, so we can't tell him to stop doing that.
Well, I know Dallas just made an announcement last week that they're giving their officers the okay to stop another officer from doing what they done if they're doing something wrong. And also it's okay for them to report it, and it won't be any retaliation against them. So that's a good thing. I think Dallas is going in the right way as long as they hold those officers accountable.
Yeah. Well, that's the only way you can you can make something better. You have to change, like, the policies and things like that.
Yeah, so they're actually sending all their officers through a training for that. And we have a new police chief. I'm still skeptical about him, but have to give him a chance. Have to give him a chance. So far, he seemed like he's going in the right direction, but have to give him a chance. Now, I don't.
It's going to take years. It's going to take years for these policies, like, to see if they make a difference. It doesn't happen overnight, you know. Unfortunately, you know, nowadays we want everything now, and we want it to change tomorrow. But I think the citizens of your country, they've spoken out pretty loudly. Like, they want better policing, and they want a more professional police force.
Yep.
And it's not going away anytime soon, and people are going to be watching. So, you know, if they want to make the job safer for cops, then I think they got to hold them more accountable. Because if you don't respect your police force, that makes their job more dangerous.
Yeah. And not only that, I know we've talked about it on the show about Texas. A lot of states are making it easy for people to get guns. Now, I think in the last 2 days or something, we've had 3 road rage shooting here in Dallas.
Really?
Just random shooting. Had two last night on the same highway. They believe the same person was responsible for it.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So Dallas Police Department is saying they're going to step up and put more officers in those areas, but just random shooting going on. You driving down the highway and someone just come up and shoot you. Matter of fact, one incident, a young lady was shot in the head who was pregnant. She gave birth to the baby, but she's still in critical condition, if I'm not mistaken. And the other one was shot in the hand.
Oh, wow.
So just random shooting. So it kind of make you kind of nervous. You could be going down the road and then somebody come up, as Atlanta police say, or the officer that said about the Spar shooting, he was having a bad day. But
that's the thing with guns, though, is you get angry and you've got that gun there, and in that split second, like when you're not thinking clearly, and you just go and you grab that thing. That's how this happens, because when you don't have a gun right next to you, yeah, you'll get angry, but you don't just go and reach for it out of like frustration or, you know, whatever. And I think that, and also too, like I've heard people say when it comes to suicides, well, that's not a big deal with guns. You know, that's just people's personal choice. Well, if you think about it, if somebody's going through a depressive episode and they've got a gun sitting there, and then they just make that split-second decision, oh, I'm just going to end it all, and that gun's sitting there. You know, that should be, but people seem to write that off. It's like, oh, well, they're just depressed, and, you know, so we shouldn't really attach that to guns.
Well, we just had an incident happen, I want to say yesterday or today. A couple who was going through a divorce in Louisville, Texas. The wife had been reported missing, and they just found both of them from a murder-suicide.
Yeah.
So mental health is real. So please take it serious. Someone tell you they need help. Take it serious, because you don't know if you're only gonna listen to what they're saying to go and talk about them. Get someone else that's going to be legit about it. That's kind of like when I had to take that time off, I was like, you know what? I need time off. And for the simple fact, I need time.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
I did not mean to do that.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
I need
Yeah.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
You got to listen to your phone, not the computer. Oh boy, that's your homeboy radio. Sorry about that. I was trying to end that call and it went over to them, but I guess he decided to come on tonight and just want to call and don't want to say nothing. If you're calling in, please do not block your number, and also listen to the phone, not the computer. And that's why I was getting all that feedback. But sorry about the radio. I was trying to send that to voicemail because I knew who it was once I looked at the caller ID. Um, uh, so I said, I'm sorry, TCal said, what? Wow, I worked out that way. Yes, that happened in Louisville. I seen it on the news earlier today. So people are stressed right now. And because of that, it's a lot going on. So but for the ones just tuning in, you are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Though. I am Who You With Kurt Though. Had Radio Chaos on the phone, and then we had our regular troll to call in because he do it all the time, no caller ID, and then turn around. He want to listen to the computer instead of listening to me. And I know he's a troll, but hey, everybody is welcome on the show. Everybody have a voice. Uh, so you can always call in. You can only rule we have: be respectful and come with truth. And besides, do not block your number. I don't call you back or anything like that. Kind of like Radio Chaos have called me many a times on the show. I don't call them back. I don't do none of that. But I believe it was him. Welcome to the show, Patrick. See if he'll start chiming in. And I know he would just keep calling. But I would definitely not try to answer that call. But other than that, this is the show for everyone. Everybody is welcome here. I don't care what political party you roll with or anything like that, who you support. Only thing I want you to do is come with facts. Come with facts, and also come with no conspiracy theory. That's the most important thing. No conspiracy theory, facts, and be respectful, because if not, I'm gonna just hang up on you. That's all. He probably not. I probably should have put you both on three-way. Put you both on three-way and then see what would have happened. T Cow's talking about there's some trolls in this house. There's some trolls in this house. uh, she said she your fan, radio. Yeah, if y'all don't know the song, who is that? Cardi B? It's some hoes. Well, it's some trolls in the house. So definitely, a lot of people do troll, which is okay. I've learned now, just let it roll off. People gonna have their own opinion. They're gonna say and do what they want to. But one thing I can do, I can control what I listen to and don't listen to. I can control what I put up on the screen and what I don't want to put up on the screen. So and that's all to it. So, but thank you for calling in, radio. We hit on a lot of stuff. Also, it looked like an earthquake hit out in, I just seen it a while ago. I believe it was out in uh Arizona area. So if you're in Arizona, like a 4.2. I was willing to do it because I was like, I know he probably would say something crazy, and I was like, okay, I will answer, but I was gonna keep my finger close by the button for click. He get the signing off. I could just hit it real quick, but cut the mic off on him. So I was kind of curious myself, but since we was in a conversation, I wasn't gonna answer then. But Patrick, you can call back. Line is free. Watch this. But listen to the call, not to the computer, because that feedback is loud in my ear. So definitely listen to the call. But like I said, be respectful, because you will get the click real quick. And just kind of want to see what he want to say myself. But you better call quick, because we're not gonna be here long. But other than that, as we was radio and I was talking, I did pull up to see when Cal Rittenhouse trial is starting. It's on November the 1st. So that's another trial we need to watch. And I was glancing over a story that came out. I guess they just not talking about it, talking about his attorney left him in jail while the money was being raised. Hey, yeah, that's $2 million you got to put up. And you don't know if you're gonna get it back or not. So what you pay the $2 million, I let him raise the money. I think let him raise the money. Let him get a taste of his future life in jail. So so that's something we got to pay attention to. The Cal Rittenhouse when it comes up, and also to the families that's dealing with the building collapsing in Florida. Last I heard, the death count is up to 10, and it's still over 150 people missing. So we definitely have to lift them up in prayers also. Um, but and West Coast, Seattle and Oregon, y'all getting some hot weather. I think they said it's supposed to be like 115 or something up in Seattle tomorrow. Man, that's pretty hot. Uh, I don't know if y'all getting that type of weather radio since you on that side, but that's a huge heat wave. And fortunately, Dallas haven't got there yet this year. So hopefully we don't get there, because that's a different type of heat. And um, so I don't know what y'all weather is like radio. I know you up in Canada, but you on that side, so that can be pretty warm. And especially I didn't realize that talking with friends that is from there, and also uh, listening to the news report, they say a lot of people up in Seattle don't have air conditioning. I can't do that. Put it like this: if it get hot here, I get frustrated. I'm like, no, I want it cool. But can you imagine with no AC in that area right now? Because they're not used to that type of weather, and you don't have no AC. Man, that could be a nightmare. So um, that's not good. But um, we definitely need to um, keep an eye on Gwen Berry. I hope she do great in the Olympics. All the people that are representing the Olympics um, here from the U.S. and all the, I think it's 10. I may be wrong about the number, but I think it's at least 10 athletes from Texas that is representing the Olympics. And Shakar Richardson, every time I see her video, it's like I just get chills. Um, that young lady have a big feature in front of her. She's from right here. I believe she went to Carter High School, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to Chicago Richardson and all the other athletes that are taking part. Um, that is from Texas and representing the U.S. Um, so other than that, um, tomorrow night we will be on 8 p.m. Central Time. We're making some changes. We're doing some things a little bit different, trying to get a little bit better with my time because we're going to be making a lot of different changes going on over the next month or so. And also, if you have a show idea or if you have an opinion about the show, you can always send us an email. You can email us. We'll read it live on the air, and we will respond to it. Who you with, Kurt Dog at mail.com. Who you with, Kurt Dog at mail.com. So you're always welcome to share that, your opinion about it. We've done it in the past where people sent emails. We read it live on, excuse me, read it live on the air, and go from there. We have some more stories we're going to be coming talking about soon. Um, uh, when I seen the show, the issue with Gwen Berry, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk about that because when you hear people still get upset with all the unarmed killing and murders going on in the U.S. and no justice being done, or policemen attacking folks. Um, it was a story came out. I don't know when it happened, uh, but I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow. Where a police officer attacked the guy and then turned around while he was in handcuffs, sitting on the ground. He kneed him in the face. And so we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Then also, um, it's another story. I'm going to look more into it. Um, I kind of have a feeling I know how it's going to go, but out of Arkansas. So we're going to probably hit on that tomorrow also. And then we might even talk about the fact that Ivanka Trump didn't testify accurately in the inauguration scandal case. So we may even talk about that tomorrow. So join us tomorrow, 8 p.m. Um, 8 p.m. Central Time. Um, and we will, I'm trying to see where that, no, I said Arizona, but that's actually, I can't tell if that's California or what. I think it's kind of south of yeah, it's south of Oakland. A 4.0 magnitude earthquake striking East Bay. Um, so if you're in uh, well, I guess they felt it all the way up in Oakland also. So a 4.0 earthquake that hit in California just not long ago, just a couple of minutes ago. So definitely be safe out there. But other than that, I love each and every one of you. I thank y'all for tuning in. I thank you for being a part of the show. Please take the time out to like, share, tell a friend, click the notification for whenever we come on live. You can always be a part of the show. So, other than that, I will see y'all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, if the good Lord say the same. Peace.